Hello, everyone. Good evening. So we already have around 10 plus people who have joined us. As usual, Indian Standard Time, we will give them another 2 or 3 minutes more before we kickstart the session. Yeah, thank you so much for your patience. I see all the beautiful and handsome faces already. So few more minutes. I guess we can get few more cheerful faces on the screen. It's 4:03. We've already waited 3 minutes. I'm going to give another 3 minutes. And thank you for the patience for the ones who've joined on time. That's awesome. Okay. I hope the screen is visible, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's visible, Rupa.
Right. Thank you.
We can start. It's already 5 minutes past the hour, so I think we can start. And if anybody joins in, they can probably join.
Yep. Of course. Just waiting to send a few more reminders for the ones who promised to join. So I guess they'll show they've already joined. So great. Let me see how many participants do we have. Okay. Okay, my video went off. Perfect. Let's not wait anymore. Thank you very much for joining us. A very good evening, everyone. I'm Rupa Pal. I'll be your moderator for today's conversation. And I'm sure the topic, right? Career 4.0, redefining employability and growth in the age of AI. A pretty long name, but pretty interesting topic for sure. Okay. Promising ones because we have a set of beautiful questions and themes, which we are going to start off with. A great conversation which we're going to have on this particular topic to engage more and get an understanding more of this topic. As someone who works very closely with the global teams, talent and capability building every single day, this pretty topic is incredibly close to my heart. So I told Mr. Anand, who is actually the founder of NFLIG, through which we have launched this webinar today, that I do not want to be the panelist, but a moderator. Literally squeeze in a lot of knowledge from all of the beautiful brains today. Yeah, so I get to see the first hand skills, how skills are evolving in my role, which I'm playing at Blackbox as a AVP learning and development, and how expectations are shifting and how AI is influencing in everything from learning to leadership. So today I'm just going to moderate, not share any, information or knowledge for sure, because there are a lot of knowledge we're going to gain from all the four fantastic speakers of today. I'm here to learn with all of you, challenge some assumptions which I already have in my mind, and also bring out the best insights from all of you speakers today, right? So before to go off and introduce our wonderful panelists or our speakers, I would want to just take in a quick minute to introduce to the webinar agenda. So what are we going to describe, or what are we going to explain or learn today, right? Literally, we're going to introduce or give you the insights of what do you mean by Career 4.0 and what's the impact of AI. And we will have a quick round of panelists introduction and their expertise in their particular domains. And we have beautiful set of 10 to 15 questions under themes, five different themes. The theme one is about future of work and skills and career. What are those future skills which is required? What are those skills which are obsolete? And why is it important for us to know about it? The second theme is all about understanding leadership and talent development in the new era. Will the same leadership competencies and skills which we had in the past, would it be still same, or would it be applicable now in this era for this kind of generation, is what we're going to have a little peek in. Theme three is all about technology, AI, and human enablement. Now the technology is playing in forefront. Now, how is it going to impact on our learnings or our leadership or our career or our whatever you're doing, right? Your path or your career path. So that's the theme three questions. And the theme four is all about education and early career readiness, where we are going to discuss a little bit about, not a little bit, maybe a little more about is the education system ready to take up this change in the market? Are we training our future generation with the skills and competencies required? Are we introducing them to the technology, AI, which is the part of their life going forward, right? Are we doing it in the right way? So we're going to discuss that, right? Shed some light on those topics. And theme five is all about sales, customer centricity, and service delivery. Everything about skills, competencies, readiness, AI, technology, right? But also required in the way we sell that in the market and the way we attract the customers with the competencies required in the market. So we're going to deep dive in the theme five, which is sales, customer centricity, and as well as service delivery. Now, lastly, we definitely want to understand your personal advice for all the audience who've joined us today. So definitely we'll going to ask this question to the speakers, but for sure for the participants as well, right? The audience who've joined us today, we would love to hear from you as well. But unfortunate, I guess this webinar is not allowing any participant to participate, sorry. But you can just leave those questions in the chat box. As a moderator, I'll pick all those questions. I'll get that answer from all the speakers today. So that's the fantastic agenda for the next 1.5 hour that we're going to discuss, right? With that said, now let's get into a quick 2 minutes of understanding why is it required, right? What is Career 4.0 all about, and what's the impact of AI in the field? Now, Career 4.0 is something all of us are living through in the real time right now, right? So we used to say AI will impact our lives, but we see that it's already impacting our lives. The way we work has changed, the way we learn, the way we grow, everything has shifted in a different way. Now, AI is no longer a future concept, correct? It is there, it is live, kicking, rewriting the rules. We are doing everything faster than any of us imagined. Now, and this isn't the limit, or limited to one segment of the workforce. It's not that AI has impacted just one domain, maybe technology or a healthcare, right? It's not that. It's all about it is impacting everyone, including the students, how they have to learn the content so that they can be aligned and relevant when they go into that workforce. Early career professionals, mid-level talent, senior leaders, everybody's skills has to be evolved quickly. Roles are transforming, career paths are becoming more fluid. So if we are living in this kind of a landscape, this kind of a dynamic landscape, now how are we going to be ready? What are those skills which is required? What are those content which we have to upskill on, enhance on, gain that expertise on? So today is not just another webinar. For sure, this is going to be a real conversation about our future, our growth, and our readiness. And very, very simple goal for today is to make sense of the shifts which we are going through right now, understand what they mean for our skills and careers, and talk honestly about what each one of us needs to do to play this relevant, or to stay relevant, to be confident and future ready in this landscape, right? So that's a quick introduction as to why it is required. And I promise, because by the end of this session, you're going to walk away with a lot of clarity, at least a direction as to, okay, this is where the world is going, and these are the skills which I require, and this is how we have to enhance. And for sure, a whole lot of inspiration because we have an amazing panel today, right? Amazing panel today. Okay, sorry, you sent me a start my video. I just got the pop-up now. I didn't realize it was sorry about it. Yeah. So we have a fantastic panel. Now, here you go. We are going to just get a introduction of the wonderful panel we have today. Here are the names. Okay, here it is. But I've just listed a very few on the slide because I can't just crowd the slide with lot of data, because I have at least a two or three, four sheets profile with me about these wonderful speakers, and I'm going to keep it very, very crisp and very powerful. Let me start introducing our first leader here, who is Miss Soma Joshi. I have written here, so I'm going to read it out for you, right? I've written a powerhouse in technology because I did see your profile and the kind of work and experience you've got. Amazing. A powerhouse in technology and a leader who has seen digital transformation from the inside. Yeah. Soma is a seasoned technology leader and currently a director at Visa. She has led complex transformation programs and truly understands what future ready looks like in a fast evolving tech driven world, which is definitely required for us to understand a bit more. So, Soma, we are so excited to have you with us. Thank you so much for accepting this. Right.
Thanks, Shweta.
Okay. Sorry. The second leader we have is Mr. Rahul Pal. I've written an absolute champion in the human resource, the HR and the OD, the organizational development domains. Rahul has shaped leaders, influenced culture, and transformed capability building across industries. With deep expertise in leadership development, culture building, organizational transformation, he brings a strong people lens to today's conversation. It's not just the technology we have it, but also the skill to use it right along with the human intentions is what is required. And that's what Rahul is going to bring us in. Thank you so much, Rahul, for accepting again. Glad to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you everyone for joining in this conversation. I am looking forward to it.
Great. Thank you, Rahul. So we have another dynamic leader with us, Ms. Manpreet Anand. Yeah. A strong voice in the domain of sales, leadership, and global industry partnership, along with cybersecurity. Manpreet is the country head at EC Council and bring rich real world experience to this conversation for sure. I've had few discussions with her as well in the past. It has been extremely meaningful and insightful. She deeply understands how customer expectations and digital skills are evolving right now. And her insights are going to be incredibly valuable, not just for me, but everybody today. Right. So great to have you with us, Manpreet, and thank you for accepting this in a short notice.
Thank you so much for having me here. Excited and looking forward for this discussion.
Great. Thank you. And last but not the least, Dr. Anand Wadadekar, our own founder of NFLIG Forum, a seasoned expert in education, training, and employability. Dr. Anand brings a strong background in capability development across diverse learner groups. He understands learners, professionals, and the evolving skill gaps from both an industry and academic perspective, which is very much required. We do not learn what is required in our education backgrounds or in the academia, but we just expect that to happen on the floor, which never happens. So we always wanted to see that link between academia and the corporate work life, and Anand brings that for us. He's also the founder of NFLIG Forum, creating meaningful platforms for learning and professional growth. So delighted to have you with us, Anand, and we're looking forward for your inputs.
Thank you so much, Rupa, and I'm really excited about this webinar today.
Amazing. So great. I think we all are. And thank you again for all of you for being here. I'm really looking forward to ask all those questions which I have in my mind and also which I've got from few of the audiences, and to understand your perspectives and your insights on your specific domains which you will bring on to today. Yeah. So yeah, that's our wonderful panelists. And let's go with our first theme so that we can start off the conversation. I know it's monotone, right? I've been talking from past 10 minutes, so I want to hear the other voices too. Let's start off with our first theme. Now that we have met our incredible panel, let's understand the first theme. The first theme is future of work and skills in Career 4.0. Sorry about it. Just give a minute. I've always heard that, people said excitement chokes the world. It actually choked my throat today. So sorry about it. So let's start off with the first theme. The first theme is all about future of the career and the skills which is required for us to better fit the current market. I have three questions for all of you. I've not named it, okay, this question to be only for Soma or Manpreet or Anand or Rahul. It is for all of you. And you can take your chances or you can take your turns to explain what do you feel about these questions? What is your answers for these? The first question, as we move forward towards Career 4.0, now that we know we are in a dynamic landscape right now, which skills do you believe will define professional success over the next 5 years? It's like a 5-year plan of India, right? It's like 5-year plan of our workforce. Which skills do you think will better define the professional success, and which skills are becoming obsolete? I'm sure this question has been asked to you many a times, but what do you personally feel and what is required for the current workforce right now?
Sure. Probably, I think I can go first, Rupa.
Please, yes.
Sure. So, in my opinion, right, skills that would define success primarily, the very first thing I would say is the AI fluency, right? We all have been talking about learning AI, the buzzword AI, right? All the
Yeah.
time that AI literacy. Now, AI literacy is not sufficient. So even if we are AI literate, one should know where and when to use it, right? So in my team, primarily we have AI, win Fridays. Every Friday we have AI wins being coming up from the team, and we basically focus on motivating the team to encourage the team to basically come up with solutions on the daily basis what they face, and the issues that they face, the routine or repetitive tasks that they face, and see where they can make things more productive by kind of coming up with when to use it, right? So there are so many things that they do, right? And there are certain places that we cannot really use AI. I mean, AI is not effective. It's not that you can't use it, but it's not very effective, like systems thinking or architecture primarily, where you can't rely on AI entirely, because you really need human expertise there, cross domain understanding. So these are few areas which I feel, where this is basically going to define the success, where if we have an AI fluency on when to use it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, another thing which I think, and probably I'll give chance to others as well, just other thing which I feel is, critical thinking and validation. The new programming is basically, we know AI generates code. So effectively, how can we validate the code? How can we refine the output that it generates? And basically make sure that, who is going to make it more secure and performance. AI is generating the code, but is going to make sure that this is right? Who is going to make sure the code is secure? Who is going to make sure it is performant, right, in terms of the scalability that we work in, with respect to the payment domain or finance? There's a lot of scaling required. So that's where, I would say that a critical thinking and validation is a must, in terms of, and having a good technical depth is needed. So I think this is where I would say it will define success eventually, and ensuring that we are able to change, ready to change. Because if you are able to embrace the change, technology changes every like 12 to 18 months, and with
Yeah.
AI it's like every day it is changing, I would say, right? You keep having new tools coming up. So you should be able to embrace the change, and only then you can thrive.
Amazing. Those are some great points. Embracing change, technology, depth, and ethnicity in decision making. That's a lovely point, right? That's definitely
I
required.
think one point which I want to make on the obsolete part, right, which I think the question that you asked is, I feel, and I think that has been the structure in most organizations, where, the testing skills, right, if you talk about the manual testing primarily, right, and the repetitive QA activities, that is becoming obsolete. And we have had a lot of reorg where we kind of, either people who are completely not adaptable to change were,
Yeah.
I would say, they were just like, we had a reorg where we removed all the testing folks there, and
Mm.
we asked them to change or move it, right? So basically, whoever was, again, embracing change and they were okay to move. So I would say that the manual testing is where, you can say the repetitive QA efforts are, it's becoming a standard to automate that using AI, and it's very easy to automate using AI. So manual testers should evolve, and they should basically evolve to end-to-end dev. And we have in my team testers already moved to the dev, end-to-end development, stack creation and everything. So I think that's one thing which is becoming obsolete, and one should move or evolve.
You're absolutely right. And I've seen organizations giving those opportunities for testers or developers also who have not been enhancing their skills a chance or an opportunity, saying, you know what, this is what is done by AI already. And how can you evolve, or how can you give us the version 2 of yourself so that we can better, utilize your capability? And that's the market I have seen in my interviews also. People say, I was this, but now I am this. I think AI has brought in that change in people already, and we can see that. Not 100%, but at least there are 50% of people who have understood the importance of AI that's playing in our lives. That's great input,
Absolutely.
Soma. Thank you. Okay.
Um, I think I'll go next.
Yes.
The World Economic Forum has already listed down that 44% of core job skills will change by 2028, which is like 2 years from now.
Yeah.
And analytical thinking is the number one skill which is needed,
Yeah.
combined with the efforts and the inclinations towards storytelling, negotiations, empathy, trust building. These are
Yeah.
certain skills which are really, really critical in the AI age we are today. When I talk about the skills specifically from a technical domain, uh, digital plus domain fluency is
Yeah.
where you really need to play.
Yeah.
It's just not about coding alone, but it's knowing how tech reshapes your field, what it
Yeah.
is that you need to do, and how you can bring forth a stronger change with things happening around you. Now, those skills which are really losing relevance would be role-based expertise. I know how to do this X.
Yeah.
Now, doesn't matter whether you know or you don't know, whether you bring 25, 30 years of experience, until unless you are ready to change, learn, relearn, unlearn, and that is the
Yeah.
process which has to continue regularly, till the time you're in this market. That
Yeah.
becomes very critical. And then all these manual reporting, repetitive work, execution, low decision making processes, all will be driven by AI as we go. So, if I have to put it in one line for you, primary career 4.0 would be skills don't expire slowly, they will clip off, clip drop completely. So, everybody has to take that chance and become uh, an individual who is always learning, and that would be the key parameter for growth.
Absolutely. I love the point when you said it's no more role based. That's why organizations is going towards skill based organizations, right? It's no more role based JDs also, which we are created. We are creating skill based JDs, which can be leveraged for other roles which are available in the market or other roles which are available in the organization. So I am driving that one of those initiatives where we are not just defining a person's role depending on what he's supposed to do in the particular role, but how he can expand his role and explore the other things which are linked to what's his role is. That's great, Manpreet. Thank you so much for that. So, Rahul?
I think the two beautiful ladies have given a very good perspective from the business side. I'll give a perspective from the people side. And I think AI has been scaring a lot of us, including our newer generation, including the people who are already in the college and going to pass out, and they are not sure what's going to happen when they reach to the shop floor or the business floor. But I think I just like to say that yes, AI is definitely a big factor for change. It is the change itself. And if you actually go back and see some of the lectures given by Jeffrey Hinton, right? He's also spoken about the same, who's the godfather of AI. He's also said that AI is going to change a lot of things. Be ready for that. At the same time, AI would still not be able to, I would say, disturb anyone who is expert in his or her field, because that expertise level has gone quite a few notches up. And I think that's what people need to understand, that it is not just about being generalist in the role. It is about becoming that expert, because then you can also tell AI this is right, this is wrong. AI needs that. AI, what is AI? AI is completely a system dependent on the data which we are
Yeah.
feeding it into the system, and system is taking that decision or taking that action. And if the data has to be validated by somebody or has to be programmed by somebody to make the system becomes efficient, that person would definitely be required in any kind of field. Even if I just few days back somebody was talking about data entry operators are already gone. Yes, they're already gone, but there are few data entry operators who can actually do a job which can tell AI how to get it effectively, how to keep innovating, how to keep bringing those changes. So I think yes, AI is going to be a big change, and it's already a change. We are already seeing that all of us are getting affected. At the same time, AI is not something which we should get scared of, but we should be careful and we should be very, very cognizant about the expertise level of our skills. And if we are looking at that, I think AI would definitely be a friend than be a foe.
Absolutely. Didn't I say it right in the beginning that he'll get the human lens for us? Exactly. Thank you so much, Rahul. That was insightful. Okay, Anand.
Yes, as perfectly mentioned by Soma, Rahul, Manpreet, and Rupa, yourself as well. The one skill which will never go will be being human. Because as Rahul has already said that AI is giving what you call a tension, a stress, a nervous to the workforce today, and therefore being human definitely would not go at all, because as far as AI is concerned, it would, as mentioned by Rahul, it would act on what you give to AI. So what you give to AI depends on the human there. So I feel that definitely human skills, human thinking would never go. And if things going obsolete, I would say that clerical work, which went into hours and man hours of giving time to doing those clerical tasks would definitely become obsolete have already started becoming obsolete, and it will all entirely go in the next 5 years.
Awesome. Those were some really great points, everyone. Thank you so much. Now, let's move on to the second question in the same theme of future of work and skills as to how should organization balance technical capability with human-centric skills in an AI-enabled workplace? How do you think we should balance? Is it that we are converting everything into an AI and making it scary for our people so that they are not exploring more, or what do you think in your perspective? How should an organization balance both the capabilities, technology as well as human centricity?
So basically, if you
Again,
really, you want to go ahead, please
just
go.
go ahead, Manpreet, please go ahead. I'll continue next.
So thanks. So basically, if you really have to look at it from this aspect, I would say hire for learning mindset,
Yeah.
train for technical depth. This has to be the mantra to be followed by all organizations. For
Yeah.
example, in cybersecurity sales, for example, technical accuracy wins us entry, but human trust and credibility is what actually helps us
Yep.
sail through, right? So that would
Yes.
become a prominent, important aspect.
Yeah. That's a great point. Amazing. Okay. Suma, I think you'll
Yeah,
have
I think that's a very good point, Manpreet.
yeah.
That I completely agree. The balance here is, like we can't say it's a 50-50. It's actually at both at 100%. So here, what we are saying is technical depth remains the foundation, because if you do not know the basics, the fundamentals, you can't really guide AI. You can't debug the code what AI has generated, and effectively, you would be dependent on AI, whereas eventually you're not going to be able to validate it, and that will be you'll hit a ceiling basically, right? So which means if you hit a ceiling, you're not really going to be grow. You can't grow from there, right? Because you don't know what to do after, what to do next. So technical depth, I would say, remains the foundation or the most fundamental thing here. The second thing, I agree, human centric. If a leader, if a example, if a engineer, he is kind of, he has a human skill, I would say he's more valuable. I mean, he's able to cross communicate to the different functional teams. He is definitely more valuable than an engineer who is siloed and working in the siloed because now AI is doing everything. It's more important to cross communicate and have a cross functional expertise here, instead of just and a human touch, where you're able to communicate well and being able to understand the domain, understand the people more, is important, is what I feel. And again, as Manpreet also said, we should hire where where we are able to see that there is a learning curiosity, and plus also an learning, I would say, adaptability, where we can see that the person is um, willing to learn and change.
Yeah.
I think great thoughts from Manpreet and Soma about this particular question. This is very, very critical question. Now, for people who are entering into the workforce in this forum, or the people who have already entered and spent like about 3, 4, 5 years or so, they should understand that whatever machine can do, it can do it to a certain extent, which is not matching to the human's capability. And human's capability largely come into the picture when we talk about creativity, when we talk about emotional intelligence, when we talk about empathy. Now, why these skills are so important and so meaningful is purely because when we are living in a world where technology is changing every night probably, right? And we are living in the world where things are becoming so complex and so difficult. Customers' demands are becoming so complex and so difficult. And I think Manpreet can also vouch for that. That it's so difficult to manage the demands of the customer, and they are asking for sky and roof and everything all together, right? And in that scenario, if an organization has to push their employees, how are they going to push? What are the skills they would need from their leadership to push those guys? That's definitely just not about technical skills. It is about having that empathy, having that human touch, having that kind of compassion towards people. And as a HR professional, I can say that's very, very critical in nowadays, because you see so many people breaking down. They are leaving their work. They probably look at leaving their careers for some time and decide something after a few years, because they're not sure. They are getting so bucked up by all these kind of things which are happening in today's world. So it's getting very, very complex, and if we have to really handle this complexity, we really have to bring in the human centric approach to our people, and that is a very, very important task for leaders today.
Amazing.
Yes, just to add to all the views, I completely, agree. And just what I feel and have observed in corporate today, that, as far as, what you call having a balance of technical capability and human-centric skills is, I think the HR, you know, uh, needs to play, and actually is playing and should play a more better, more enhanced, and a more intellectual role while hiring people, in this kind of industry dynamics. Because ultimately what happens is, when you get lakhs of applications for a job role, and the HR definitely has a tough time to actually decide who's better, who's not better. And clubbing and balancing these technical and human centric skills in a particular CV, it's a really a daunting task. And therefore, what I feel that as far as HR domain is concerned and HR professions are concerned, they have a what you call they have a tough time ahead.
Already having one, I guess.
I mean, I just want to, add few things. I think what Anand said is very, very critical, and especially, Soma can also talk, and Manpreet can also talk about it, is that, how people are being hired. Today's our gatekeepers, which is the talent acquisition team, is not the right set of people who can actually vouch for these kind of, abilities. So they are looking at technical depth, they are looking at technical skills, and they say yes or no based on that. They don't understand how well this person can actually, work with other people, how well this person can work in the complex environment they are in, and that is where they fail. So what happens is you have a early, entry, and you have an easy exit. And when we are, I mean, look at any kind of industry. I was just talking to somebody, a few weeks back about the IT world's India's IT attrition rate, which is at an average of about 28-30%. And that is huge. With all the kind of job scarcity and job scare and not having enough jobs, we still are floating in a very high percentage of about 28%, which is very high. And why is it so? Because we are missing out these kind of things, and people are now thinking, okay, fine, let me just go and do something else, because I can't work with this manager, I can't work with this team, I can't work with this leadership, I can't work with this company. And they are taking those kind of wild calls because of these kind of elements which are definitely impacting our world.
Yeah, I think I completely agree, Rahul. Thanks. I would want to add a few things here to Rahul, what you said. Completely valid. I think that's what is happening. I mean, I won't want to say my team, I haven't had attrition for the last 2 years. But one thing I would want to add is, the psychological safety that comes in. If you are ready to, kind of adapt and not resist change, making a kind of atmosphere, first from the hiring perspective, second from making sure there's no attrition. So I'll come to the hiring point, but making sure from the attrition perspective, making people, giving the freedom, giving kind of the keeping people motivated and giving them the autonomy to do things, at the same time making sure that there is a psychological safety around. They don't think that, okay, look, there's an AI and that's going to replace my job. So making sure that they grow, and basically with AI. So it's like pairing AI with strong fundamentals is important, technical depth, and same goes with the hiring. So what we look at is, we also look at GitHub commits. We just don't look at the resume. From the hiring perspective at Visa, we definitely look at the person who's being hired, or not hired, I would say being shortlisted. Have they also done GitHub commits? I mean, how good are they and how many commits? You're just talking about like one commit or two commits before coming for the or before applying, or have they been a seasoned programmer, right? So that really helps because the more AI is not just about increasing your lines of code or increasing the number of commits. It's also about the actual problem that you're solving. So we can actually look at the GitHub commits, see how much really they are doing. It's not just about their resume. So that's how we are looking practically even before coming in, so that we see that okay, if they are AI skilled, which means they are kind of open to change. They are not just resisting it. And apart from their technical fundamental, their background, everything else. So these are few things we generally look at. And yeah, again, I would say I'm proud to say that I haven't had any attrition because last 2 years. So yeah, I think that's the few pointers I want.
That's amazing. I mean, that shows the importance we've given for humans and their emotions and their psychological safety, right? Keeping that boundary of safety is very important because I read one of the articles which said an employee's health index is, directly proportional to the manager's behavior with him. Meaning, if their health is absolutely great, it means to say he's having a great time at work because in a day, right, almost 9 to 10 hours they spend in that workplace, literally more than their own home. So the emotions which you go through in that space, which you are there for the most number of hours, tells you the health, the kind of health you actually have. So I keep telling my team, like, if you fall sick, is it me as a reason? Am I putting you into a stressful situation and to have fun? But actually, it makes sense, right? So that's a great point, Soma. Thank you. And congrats that you've not had any attrition since last 2 years. Let's not jinx it and let's not tell it again.
Yeah. Yes,
Perfect.
for sure.
Amazing points. Okay, now I have the third question under the same theme, which is what role will continuous learning play when job cycles are shrinking and skill half-life is dropping? What do you think about it?
Shall I go?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
go ahead, Manpreet.
Okay. So if you really look at this, the job half-life is now 2.5 years, which was earlier 7 to 10 years, right?
Yes.
So this has reduced drastically. Now, how do you really ensure that there is continuous learning and there's less of shrinkage in the job cycle? It is about embedded learning and not episodic. Like what do I mean by that is that it has to be continuous in their entire process, day-to-day activities they do and stuff like that. It should not be that you pull them out, put them somewhere and say, okay, now do this. Or you
Yeah.
by before put them on some online. That this has
Yeah.
to be this many hours. Nobody
Yeah.
will be able to do it.
Yeah.
Then it has to be role linked. Where is the career path you're showing? That okay, if you take up this learning, you do this with this kind of an experience, here is where you are going to head. This is where your
Yeah.
future looks like. This is
Mm.
what the career path we have planned for you. That is not good. Then also it has to be applied, not just certified. Just not have a tick in the box that okay, this guy is certified on this guy is certified on that. But are they actually applying it on the job? Are you getting benefit out of it? And if that's not happening, then you need to revisit and understand. So basically, if you have to put that course, right, it should not be about what course did you finish, but it is about what capability have you deployed in your work over the last 1 month of your learning.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is going to be the biggest game changer for us from all aspects. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Manpreet. I think I would like to add here, Manpreet. I completely agree, Manpreet. I mean, bang on. I was about to say a few of those things. Completely agree here. So here, and apart from the courses that you do, right, continuously upgrading yourself, the leadership, and there has to be a free. I would say here, in terms of the skill and continuous learning. First thing is we should have access to free learning resources available from the organization perspective as well. There shouldn't be any restriction. Secondly, when we talk about primarily AI tools, right? There are organizations who have limitations. I agree they would have budget issues. There are big organizations, I would say, like Visa, Google, Microsoft, all of them have unlimited token access, and in terms of all the AI tools. And this should, I would say, this tool access should not be limited to only senior developers. It should be accessible to all the team members, so that they can come up with automations. And this is what is happening with us now. We have it available to all the team members, freely available, all kind of tools, all agentic tools. And that is where we are coming up with innovations. Every Friday we have a AI win, kind of demo that we have. So that is where it keeps the team motivated in terms of doing a lot of AI innovations and showcasing it. So that's kind of giving them a motivation. Look, I'm able to automate this and showcase it to the team, and now let's adopt. Now again, it's equally important to adopt than just keep doing innovations, because I see that a lot of innovations are being done off late, but it is all in progress. It is not in the production stable state, and they are all kind of not being in the not in an adopted state. So that's another important criteria, that we should be able to get it adopted and keep learning, keep improving our skill set here. And organization should equally support in getting or giving the resources to do that.
So,
Yeah, I think well said by both of them. From the human perspective, I just want to, bring in that aspect that organizations today have to realize that, the word loyalty has gone out of the window. So it is nowhere the word loyalty, which is a buzzword. What is important today is that how relevant you are. And I'm just basing a research which has been done recently in US, which is, basically indicating that organizations would start looking at high school dropouts and senior school dropouts to join their workforce for the relevant projects, get the best out of that project, whether monetary, otherwise, etc. And then they are free. I mean, if they want to stay, if they are relevant, they can stay with the organization. Otherwise, they can again come back. So, which means that the research also says that about more than 60% of the working population of US will convert to gig working by 2028.
yeah.
And that's a big number. Look at 60%. So which means that what is at play today is the relevant skill, and whether job cycles will shrink beyond these 2.5 as Manpreet mentioned, or even to go to the 1 year. I think it's all about getting the work done. And once the work is done, then everybody is free, not just the organization, but the employees also free. If they want to stay, they can stay. If they want to go and work somewhere else, with the competitors, fine. I mean, nothing pinches me. And this, when you talk about these skills are the ones which are going to be at play for the current as well as future projects. Nothing of the background or the ones which were used earlier, maybe a surety for anyone's stay in the organization. So like Manpreet was talking about, it's so important for people to keep upskilling, keep learning, keep their learning radar on, and that's very critical. And all the guys who are listening into this conversation, as well as the ones who are going to listen to the recordings, I would strongly recommend that create a big appetite for learning and big appetite for relevant learning. Not just for things which doesn't make any sense, but big appetite for relevant learning, which is going to keep them afloat in this as well as in future.
Yeah, I think one more point to what Rahul said was, we should keep. I mean, not only in terms of the engineers should keep, or developers should keep their time, say 10 to 20% for exploration. Similarly, like if there are managers who are listening here as well, we should keep around 20% or 30% time for exploration in the teams. So most of the teams do that, where we keep around 20 to 30% time exploring, doing new things with the help of the latest technology, so that we can showcase how we can. And that's the time when you can actually look or see how we are improving on the productivity, using that 30% of the time to just kind of experiment around. So I think that's where we should keep doing as part of our daily routine, and we've seen good benefits from that.
Yes, I too agree with Soma and Rahul, and thanks Rahul for those research statistics. They are really mind-boggling, I would say. And what I would say, as far as role of continuous learning, I think organizations now need to make it a part of the culture, because it should be a top to bottom approach, where currently in many places it's being bottom to up, where trainings are listed on the emails and the portals, and employees are supposed to go through those trainings by maybe it may be a self-paced learning, or maybe a classroom, or a virtual training. But as I always say, we know that we have seen and we have heard a lot since our school and college days, that change is the only constant. And now I have been saying learning is the only constant. So I think that organizations from the top, the leadership, and as far as the learning and development department goes, the vertical goes, and the professionals go, they need to have a place in the board to actually have this continuous learning as a culture in the organization.
Yeah,
That is what I can.
absolutely. And I think for the guys who are listening, this webinar, as well as the guys who are going to listen, I just one more suggestion is that one of the primary questions which recruiters have been asked to include in their first list is, what are the three or two new skills you have learned in the last 3 months? Describe that to me. And if people are not able to describe that, they are simply understanding that this guy is not pro towards learning. They think that whatever they have done is enough, and that would not be sufficient.
I guess that question has become now a norm in all the interviews. What are the recent skills that you have acquired? What is that recent learning you have done? And that's becoming more impactful now to understand, okay, this guy's uh, put in his time and effort to learn a new skill, which means to say he's ready to evolve with us. So, which is good. I mean, those were some powerful insights, guys. Thank you so much. I mean, now it's even more powerful. It gets even more powerful, but now we know that how the future of work looks like and the skills which is required. Now comes the major part, right? How is it going to affect the leadership? Meaning, what are those skills which is required for the leaders, and how are we as leaders going to help support engage with our future workforce, right? So the theme 2 is all about leadership and talent development. As a leader, how are you going to be involved, and in this new era, what are those new things which you will change in yourself so that you can better perform in your role as a leader, right? So I have just two questions in that. One is, how can leaders redesign growth pathways? Now, is it going to be the same like how we used to do in the past, or is there any redesign which is required in the growth pathways which we create for our people? Manpreet rightly said about the career paths. We would want to get into a little bit more on that. How can leaders redesign the growth pathways when employees expect a lot, right? They expect personalization, they expect speed, agility, flexibility, comfort, everything in the career progression. Now, how do you think leaders have to redesign here?
I can start, Rupa. So, in my
Yes, please.
opinion, sure. So, in my opinion, when you talk about leaders redefining the role, here there are a couple of things, right? We discussed on we are expecting the roles are evolving, and I think Manpreet also caught upon this earlier, that when we say the roles are changing, right, we are expecting everything to be done by. I mean, a lot of things to be done, expanded role for each existing role here. Definitely, we need to look forward for uh, properly, communicating these role changes to the developer in terms of letting them know that, see, first thing is you're actually making sure that the roles are evolving and you are doing much more than what you used to do. Apart from that, you're giving them giving the team all the platforms, the accesses and everything. Now, in terms of the reinventing, we are saying that, look, from the role perspective, you need to have these goals clearly defined. Your role doesn't really change. I mean, when I say role changes, your role remains the same, but your foundation should be strong. So in terms of that, we are just revisiting that. We are saying that, look, you're pairing that foundation with AI. You're not just changing that entirely. We're not saying that, no, look, you're changing that entire, your role is being defined with what you're expected to do still. Plus you're actually planning to do the validations, you're planning to do the the next level, you're planning to get to the next level a bit faster. Now, so there's a concept called skill hollowing, right? When we say that skill hollowing, we are saying that, you're kind of missing the middleman here, right? So middle level task that is being done. So if you're growing, say for example a junior developer, he started his career as a junior developer, a fresh grad basically. He's joining, he's starting to code, and AI is right kind of helping the junior developer do things pretty fast, what a mid-level can actually do. So mid-level, I mean, in my opinion, we are saying 0 to 2 is like a fresh grad, and say 3 to 5 is a mid-level. So in this case, a 3 to 5, earlier what used to happen, we used to I mean, I have come from that background where, I also used to code, and we used to kind of learn from our mistakes. Now what is happening, when we are saying we want to redefine, what is happening is that mid-level path, when we are actually supposed to learn from our mistakes, the judgment, the intuition that we are building by learning with our mistakes is missing, because all we are getting is, look, AI is doing it for us. So
Yeah.
it's so fast, and we're not really getting that building the judgment. And that is what is required when you grow to the next level, in terms of in terms of kind of taking strategic decisions. You can't take strategic decisions until you build the intuition and judgment. You can't just be very rely on AI for everything. So when you define those roles, there has to be a clear understanding in terms of, look, even if you are supposed to be doing this, this is something which, for example, 3 to 5 years, right? So if you are a senior developer, say 3 to 5, mid-level developer, say 3 to 5 years of experience, the technology, the role, what he's supposed to be doing in terms of say basic API development, understanding, design, debugging, all of that remains the same. But at the same time, they have to be there has to be a proper learning, I mean, that validation. Along with that, you have again an additional skill set in terms of AI pairing, right? When I say AI pairing, which means you are ensuring that you know how to learn with AI, how to basically grow with AI, how to code with AI, and how to validate, refine outputs, create models, select models, do prompt engineering. So every role requires all of these, additional, I would say, skill set in terms of the AI. So we have to add this additional skill set for every role, is what I would say.
Awesome.
I would say that, what we need to teach basically is empathy. That is a critical skill we need to teach our next levels who want to take up those managerial roles and get into leadership. The second important aspect is, please recognize and appreciate the project owners and just not the titles, because titles are not the ones who are working. People who are doing that work need to be appreciated. That's why they will be with you. That's where they will learn from you. That becomes very critical. And allow them to experiment with their careers also. So if someone is doing stock and he thinks that no, he is good with forensics, why not? Let him go. And if that passion can be brought forward and added and can add value to you and the organization, be it. I mean, it's always better, to let the people grow in within the organizations and pursue different interests which can add value. So, and linear promotions are very important. It should not be like, you be in one role and then for the next you have to have that kind of number of years validation, which is our organizational requirements. Nobody, and especially Gen Zs, have no patience for that. Let's just accept it and adapt it. That they want fast promotions, they want fast money, they want everything to be done as of yesterday. And the beauty is, I think I'm learning a lot from Gen Zs. They are actually breaking a lot of protocols which we millenniums and Gen X have created unnecessary within the corporate ecosystem. So it is just not about the new people who want to take up the leadership role and how we are defining it. It's also about the current leaders. How are
Yeah.
you becoming agile? How,
Yeah.
what kind of a resilience you have within yourself? Do you have that patience? Do you really look at a problem statement with that calmness which is needed in order to evaluate the right and wrong, or do you jump into solutions? So all these traits are kind of critical and important as we grow towards creating the next phase of leaders, because technology is changing rapidly. I mean, it's changing at a pace wherein we cannot train people at that pace.
Yeah.
Today you have something, tomorrow morning you get up, you have something else added to it.
Yeah.
Now, if that is the theme and that is the rhythm with which we have to work, the only thing remains stable is being human, showing empathy, building trust within the organizations, within the employees you work with. And these traits are non-negotiable. Every leader needs to have it within themselves going forward and in the current scenarios.
I think before I have my views about it, I just want to check quickly on the time. Are we good? Or because this was scheduled till 5 o'clock, so are we good to continue further?
This is scheduled till 6, Rahul.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I may have to. Sorry.
We have such wonderful leaders here, and we cannot restrict just for 1 hour, right? It never
Okay.
happens.
All right. Okay.
2 hours.
All right. Sorry. So I can go ahead now. I can give you a big gyan on this topic. I think because this is my bread and butter topic. For me, I think it is. So we have to look at different lenses now. I think for all the guys who are listening to this conversation, this discussion, they need to understand that leaders are have to look at from the different lenses. One lens is a generation lens, which even Manpreet brought out from Gen Z, other gen. So if you look at typical organization today has at least about 4 generations working. We start with baby boomers and then we go to Gen X, then we go to millennials, then we go to, the Gen Zs, and we are slowly going to start seeing the alpha as well coming in to the picture. Now, this is a critical, what do you call, aspect of the organization, which has a very, very important role for leaders to look at. One is from the perspective of what do these generations want. Now, Gen X has a very different demand in the organization, and they are probably sitting at around, at a position of a CX or a department head or function head, etc. Right, largely. If you look at millennials, they would be also, in the department head kind of, and some are, getting into that lane. But these millennials are the main core workforce for us. These are the guys who are going to be producing those goods and services which the consumers are going to consuming and they will pay for it, right? We may make beautiful strategies, but the strategies are implemented and executed by these guys largely, if you look at it. Now, what is it that they are looking at? Now, Gen Zs are the ones who are looking at quick, solutions, quick benefits, transparencies. They are looking at, individuals involving and including them in decision making. They need to know the meaning of their work. Why are they doing what they are doing? They want to understand that. And if they don't see growth, career upliftment, their learning, they are good to leave organizations even like Google as also. So if you look at what's Google's, attrition percentage, it's, hovering around 18-19%, not less. Even such a big name and struggling with Microsoft. What's the Microsoft attrition percentage? It's about 21%, right? You look at these numbers and you say, why is it that people are not even happy with these kind of large organizations who offer everything and anything under the sky? I think the biggest problem is the generation. The generation which is sitting, they are not satisfied with anything in particular. They may be satisfied with today, the monetary aspect. Tomorrow they would be looking at some other benefit. Day after tomorrow they will be looking at learning. Then they're looking at career progression, mobility. So there are different aspects which leaders are looking at and have to look at. How strongly they are leveraging data. I think data is a very, very powerful tool today for leaders, which talks about, the likes and, dislikes, the benefits, the, ESAT. Many of the organizations just do ESAT for the sake of it, which they are foolish enough, to do that. ESAT has a very, very big relevance with respect to what it can offer to the organization in managing these people. So flexibility and career progression, like Manpreet was saying, linear, promotions, you can be as quick as 3-month promotion period. I'm just giving an example, right? There are startups who are looking at that kind of promotion cycle, that within 3 months, if you get me the kind of revenue you were actually asked to, and you're doing that, next position, next level, I'm okay with that. So there are a lot of organizations who are evolving and becoming very, very agile, and the unique reason behind that is what kind of animal they are trying to take care of. And that animal is basically very, very, I would say, cruel. It's not like our, Gen X kind of time where we used to be pacified, and can be happy for about 2 years without promotion also, and still work with all the kind of honesty and integrity. These guys are very quick. They are going through everyday social media. They are looking at all the kind of trends, and they compare, and they get dissatisfied, and all the cry and shy will start off. So I think leaders have to look at, and one more important thing is, we used to talk about career ladders in our generations, and in many of the discussions. Now the shift is towards career lattices. What is a lattice? Basically, it's about the interconnected network. It's basically like the kind of a web which can connect any dot anywhere, right? It has direct or indirect connect, which means that today I may be like a software engineer. Tomorrow I may be maybe a HR manager, and day after tomorrow I may be working in a finance team and taking care of deals. So that option has to be open now. You cannot be restricting by saying, what, no, you are a finance graduate, now you will only work in the finance field. No, that time is over for leaders. And I think people also should understand that this is what people are also looking at. So if they are finding you that you are stagnant in one particular role, they would be saying, what, we need to think of something else. And if you are trying to move, like I have seen a lot of guys who are learning AI, because even though they are not technologists, I have seen general managers are learning AI because they have to grow, they have to secure their job. So these are some of the things which basically are very, very prevalent in today's discussion forum.
Wow, it's a little overwhelming, right? A lot of data, a lot of good words. I mean, I'm just making my notes in my mobile, like AI notes actually. I'm making as to what are the good words I heard just now, right? So, Rahul, for your point of career lattice, when I said when we were creating career path, in our organization, when I said career path, they said career lattice. And there's a new word which a Gen Z and even certain leadership came up with, which is called cartography, right? It's called career cartography. And I thought when they didn't add career to it, and they just did cartography, I thought it's some heart disease, or it's a particular machine which tests something scientific. And they're like, no, it's career cartography, which means the map of possibilities in an organization for a particular role. I'm like, oh my God, wow, there's a word called career cartography, and lattice is what we were using, and now they're even advancing with newer words to be added in the dictionary. That's how advancing it is, and that's how we are redesigning the leadership, I could say. That's great points, all of you. Thank you so much. I guess the next question is relevant to the first question. It's interlinking, so let's skip that. It's non-negotiable behaviors, which we already spoke in the first question, but I would want to go with the third question, which I want to hear from you. If you had to choose one talent practice to reinvent for Career 4.0, what would it be and why? If you would want to stop it or completely, take it away and want to reinvent it in a different way, or just delete it out of the dictionary.
So I can probably go, first in it for this question, because this is so close to my heart. Career 4.0 is directly connected to Industry 4.0. And what is Industry 4.0? It's all about machines taking charge, machine taking leads, whether it's about cybersecurity, whether it is about, Internet of Things, etc., all those kind of things, as well as AI, ML, etc. Now, one talent practice which, has to reinvent, I would say the topmost is the mobility. That what kind of mobility structure we have in the organization, which basically makes everyone think that they can move, provided they have the right skills. So, no matter, again, coming back to the same point, no matter I'm a finance guy, but if I know AI prompt engineering, then I can be leading the AI prompt engineering department as well. What stops me? Just because I was a finance guy, that should not stop me. So the mobility factor has to be very, very strong. From the talent management side, I would say that, organizations and leaders have to remove three B's. And I'm sorry, I'm going to use this word, but it's very critical. The three B's is my invention. It's not anybody else's. The three B's, is basically standing for bullshitting, boredom. Let me just get this back. Uh, I wrote it when I was, preparing for this question. So I thought, let me just, bring this to the forum and see what the reaction going to be, right? Yeah. And please don't quote me for this. Yeah, bureaucracy, boredom, and bullshitting. Which is bureaucracy is one factor which is killing our people's interest in the organization. When you look at decision making, how quick your decision makings are, right? How slow your decision making are. And second is the boredom which leaders create generally by saying, okay, fine, boss, you have 2 years to grow. So learn this skill, and then next 2 years you will talk about after the second year's performance management, right? And that kind of bullshitting, which basically is about leaders giving you all sorts of gyan that people should grow, people should do this, but when it comes to practicality and when it comes to applicability of that, it just goes out of the window. It doesn't work that way. So these three B's, if organizations and leaders actually remove, because that's what this generation is asking for. That's why our workforce is asking for. So I would say that talent practices from the mobility perspective and talent practices from being agile in whatever key talent management practices we have in our organization. If we can just turn the agility and bring them faster.
Okay, we lost you for a millisecond. Agility and bring them.
Sorry, did you lose me? Okay, sorry. I was talking about that, bringing that agility as well as, meaningfulness, right? What is relevant for that, particular workforce, and connecting it to the people back in their policies and in their structures.
Agility and mobility. Two great words again. Okay. Any other words? Maybe we could just go with words now. What do you want to reinvent?
I would say I mean, I probably don't have a proper word here, but I would say that we have been doing a lot of manual, talent hiring as well, right? So I would say we are all AI, going towards AI, to look forward on how we can automate even the hiring, the talent shortlisting using automation and AI, right? Where we should go forward, right? We're going it for all that. And there are debates around that. I don't want to go into that because they say that, like doing a hiring, I mean, obviously we can shortlist. We already have created such tools, utilities in our place where we shortlist resumes using AI now. But one thing which I would say is the time it takes, right, to hire, to kind of select, and the time it takes to hire is a long time gap, right? You would, during this time gap, you would see a lot of Gen Zs or Gen Alphas we're talking about, right? Getting multiple offers and moving from here to there, right? So they don't just rely on one offer. Obviously, no one does. So the time it takes from selecting, time it takes to call them, hire, the time it takes for multiple rounds, the time they actually join is a long time. For most organizations. So I would say this is one thing which we should reinvent and try to automate. We have AI in place. We should automate everything start to end.
Yes, absolutely agree to Soma. Just would like to add the quote which I recently heard from the founder of Zoho. He said that at Zoho, no job requires a college degree. They remove the degree requirement from the JD totally. So, when we say that, what is that one talent practice the leaders and the organizations should actually adapt and adopt is actually removing this kind of eligibility criteria in while hiring for skills when what Rupa rightly mentioned, that it's a skills economy, and it's not about degrees, it's not about academics. And so that one talent practice is required to be reinvented, where skills are the foremost qualification, and not a paper degree or what is there on the paper.
Agree.
I would say performance appraisals, annual appraisals, which we do, we definitely need to relook at that. Annual appraisals have become obsolete. They hold no value with the current structures and the places and time we are in. So that needs to be one thing for me, which I will say.
But absolutely, I think Manpreet, you're well said, because this is already in great discussions in the HR forums, and a lot of organizations have started doing monthly appraisals now. Monthly checks, and they are not looking at bell curves and all those kind of things. So they are looking at the monthly checks. Based on the monthly checks, they create a the graph, and then they can decide easily. They don't
It's
have to wait.
like Rahul, you know what, the Maslow hierarchy theory, this which we study.
Mm,
Now bring it to life. Now the kids would be like, "What the hell is this? What are you talking about?"
yes, yes.
Because they have all the parameters has already been fulfilled. The only step remaining is going to the nirvana state, which I think they won't go, but we will end up there sometime.
Yeah.
That's awesome. See, I told you leadership questions are a little inquisitive. We need to learn and understand more. Now that we have spoken about the career, the shifts which is happening and the skills required and how we have to redesign leadership, now comes to the third point, our third theme, which is technology, AI, and human enablement. With that, I have the first question here, which says, where do you see AI accelerating careers? And where does it risk widening capability gaps? I guess being a technology pro, I would go with Soma.
Sure, Rupa. So I do have a few pointers here. So let me start with where AI accelerates careers here. Start off with. So the first thing is I would say the democratization of complex task here. So as I was calling out earlier, right, the junior developers, they are able to accomplish the senior level task and with AI assistance. We have junior developers who have actually junior developers in a fresh grad coming in and creating a payments API in just kind of 2 days in as opposed to 2 weeks earlier, right? So it's basically the shift, the accelerate the learning that has been the learning curves that has been accelerated dramatically here. So this is the very first thing, where we are actually able to do complex things faster. The second thing I would say is faster iteration, faster growth, faster
Mm.
time to market. So the more cycles, the more learning opportunities, I would say. Because here in this case, the engineer who used to test 5 approaches, the same time he is now able to test, say, I mean, earlier he used to test, say, able to test just one approach, and now he's able to test 5 approaches with us in the same time period, right? So that's kind of the shift we are talking about. We are able to experiment faster, and the experiments are becoming feasible. It takes less time, and the product gets it much faster in production, and that's how we are able to earn more, right? So you see the number of problems we are solving, the number of features we are delivering is much more compared to what it was done earlier. So we're not talking about reducing strength here because AI, or replacing because AI has come up, replace people. We're saying with the same set of people, do more. Be able to deliver more. So we're not replacing anyone. We're just saying that look, AI is delivering, helping us deliver much faster. The other
Yeah.
thing, the third point I would want to say is the access to expertise, right? So we have geographically distributed teams. Certain teams have in other locations have junior strength more. Certain teams have like a complete set of junior, senior, all the developers here. So this access to expertise with AI being there 24/7, this expertise is kind of now available to all the locations, and it kind of gives you it levels the playing field geographically, ideally. So I would say that's another point which helps us accelerate the career fast. It helps us in the growth. It gives a level playing field. The most important topic, another is, we are focusing more on high value work, right? Where we are, as I think the other panelists have already called out earlier, that we are kind of reducing the redundant work, the repetitive work, and making it more automated. We're focusing only on the high value work. In this case, we are focusing on strategic thinking, more on architecture. Our teams have been able to focus or spend more time on the architecture as opposed to earlier. So 60% now. And earlier it was like, before AI, it was around say 30%. So we are able to focus more on what makes more sense, which AI cannot help us on. And that's where we are kind of I would say focusing on the high value work here. The and the last point I would say from the accelerating career perspective is, we are able to, and there are so many new career trajectories open, right, with AI. So we have AI ML engineers, ML ops, right? We have the governance, AI governance roles are emerging as well. The AI ethics officers, the prompt engineering, so many different career trajectories have introduced because of AI. So these are all the I would say factors which will accelerate the growth. That AI definitely helps in. The other point, right? I mean, to my opinion, on the uh, point which you said, where AI risk widening the capability gaps. Now, this is a pretty interesting question. I would say I would start with the skill hollowing, which I was talking about earlier, right? So,
Yeah.
skill hollowing is kind of, you're missing the middleman. Yeah, you're missing the middle level work entirely. How does a junior really grows in the ladder if he doesn't really understand the basics or fundamentals, because everything is being done by the AI? So, that missing middleman, and I think there have been theories around this. Earlier there was a theory in MIT and Oxford where it said that. You there was a research done on this, and they said this is on the labor department already there. So the automation that was done in the industries, in the labor, right? So that also had the same problem. When you're doing the automation, the labor doesn't know if something breaks, how to really solve,
Yeah.
because they don't know the underlying problem, they don't know the underlying
Yeah.
algorithm or underlying for this architecture for the same. So same thing is happening here. We are kind of going with the skill hollowing problem, and the engineers, junior engineers, are moving up the hierarchy with this gap, where they don't know things fundamentally. They're not very sure on how to go fix it. They don't know how it works internally in the algorithms, and they're just kind of hitting the ceiling here. So that's the biggest problem. The other problem is the AI dependency problem, where we are saying that, look, we don't know the fundamentals here, because AI does everything. So the team joins in, and the fresher joins, and he kind of, maybe there's a gap in the hiring here I'm talking about, but say he joins in, and he starts working, he starts using the tools, and somehow he figures out that, that he's not able to fix the AI generated code. So he has generated the code, but is not able to fix it. Now, why he's not able to fix it? Because he doesn't know the underlying algorithms. He doesn't know how to debug. He doesn't know the code. So he's just relying on AI. So that's where the dependency, the AI dependency problem. So that's another problem which is there, which is kind of I would say the problem here in case the other thing which I think is the access divide, right? So think about this, right? We are saying that. There are certain organizations who are giving access to all kind of tools to their people without any token
Yeah.
limits, whereas there are organizations, smaller ones, who are not giving any access because they have budget limitations, they have other problems where they can't really spend that much amount per person. So this is kind of creating a problem of skill, I would say, gap, where certain organizations, people, who is giving a lot of access to their employees, they are really growing well. They are getting promoted. They are getting, I mean, they can explore, experiment. Where the other side of it, they are, this is a gap getting created where they're not sure on, what to do and what is AI. They kind of, that psychological, safety is not there over there, because they just think, okay, look, they are resisting to AI because they don't know what is it. They're not working on it. So that's another point, the access divide, which is a problem here. the the expertise, the domain expertise, which I think Rahul covered earlier as well. So the domain expertise, AI is pretty generic. You need to have a domain, good domain understanding here, which means you need to have a deep context understanding on what you're working on, like payments, healthcare, finance. They all need a deep context. If you don't have a deep context, apparently you are easily replaceable because AI can doesn't have. See, AI is, if you talk about AI, there details about it. Um, there are certain things. The more data you get, basically it's something called as context engineering here, right? So now every organization follows context engineering. Now, context engineering, basically you give more context here. You give all the kind of data inputs required. AI is like a junior developer where you give very specific requirements to AI. It will give you the output, and then you should be able to review it and ensure that that's fine. So it needs all the required data. The more the more context you provide, and the more structured data you provide, the better output it provides. So now, when you talk about this kind of data needed, you definitely need to understand that this skill is. I would say the that there's a problem here in terms of you not being able to. Do this if you're not giving the proper context, you're not able, basically being able to generate the correct or proper output here. So that's the, and again, if you don't have a domain expertise, a cross domain understanding, you'll not be able to interpret it correctly as well, or not able to correct it as well. So that's another problem, I would say. And most of the times what happens is, we do a passive versus active kind of, right, passive versus active learning, where we accept the answers. We're not really able to ask the right questions and be able to challenge what the validate the output. Okay, we just say this is what I need, and then you accept whatever AI provides. AI provides basically based on certain times, if you don't do a RAG training, right, it basically just provides based on the assumptions and understanding. So there are certain agentic models where if you use certain agentic tools, you just have to provide the right context, and it will give you the output based on the context you're providing, the file based context. There is another thing called as a RAG training, right? A RAG training is a retrieval augmentation modeling, right? That you do so it's like a LLM. You basically give the context, and then you have LLM who's store that context in your vector DBs, and then basically you retrieve the context when you get the prompt, right? So that's kind of a RAG training that you have to do. So now this is where you kind of, there are several levels. Just can't say that, look, this is the AI. You need to have a deep understanding on how it really works, and what data you have to give to be able to provide the correct output. It's like, we have been able to, using this context engineering, being able to just give a Jira number and you get the entire code auto generated. You get the entire PR created, the PR created out of it, a pull request. You get the deployment done to the servers. You get before even the PR is created, the validation is complete, and then you deploy it. So you just give a Jira number with the requirement, and you don't need anyone in between to get this deployment done. All you need is a validation. So here, this is the problem. Like, another problem is, if the engineers just give a Jira number, like, if they don't do anything, if they don't really validate, if they don't really review it, it's end to end automation. So engineers who succeed, or developers who succeed here, is first they should have the judgment, intuition on what is being done is right, ask the right questions, when to use what is important. You can't just completely rely on architecture given by AI. You need to validate it thoroughly. You need to have that intuition to do the correction. So all of this is needed in terms of, I would say, when you actually validate it. These are gaps. Now, how should one address these gaps is the next question. So if you want to address these gaps, the first thing is you should have a structured learning path, which means when an engineer joins the team, he should directly not be given the AI. He should first the fundamentals. He needs to understand the fundamentals. AI is accelerating the development. It is not really accelerating the learning. So you need to basically understand that, it's just accelerating your development, making it faster, but you should be clear on your fundamentals. Now the second thing is, once you have that, you know the fundamentals, understand the problem first, and then use AI, right? So that the people are not really understanding the problem, jumping to AI, asking for solutions.
Yeah.
Then the second point, yeah, the second thing is, like the once you understand it, then you have it, AI with the some senior who can help you understand how to learn AI. I mean, how to basically use AI here, pairing them with the juniors, and helping them understand it, giving that context is important. And
So,
then we
I
can
mean,
start having.
predominantly you're saying to have an effective onboarding in place, onboarding structure in place, which will
Yeah,
include both process training by a human, understanding the depth of knowledge, understanding the
yeah,
five whys, your RCA's root cause analysis of any problem, and how AI can help you accelerate your learning can be one of the topics. That's greatly articulated, Suma. Thank you so much. I guess I
thanks.
put up the second question as well because your answering was in line with both the questions, right? What ethical consideration should a company prioritize? You were saying there should be predominantly a lot of safety and data protection net, which has to be placed on the system so that we don't abuse AI. And also, there are certain importance, or I would say, what do I say? Things which you have taken care. I mean, you have to take care behind the scenes so that the people do not abuse AI in the organization. That's greatly articulated. Thank you so much, Soma. All the
Thanks, Swati.
others, do you have any inputs here? Any insights from you? No, Anand says no, 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 no. Technology, it's Soma.
No, I think I would also like to hear from the questions from the guys who are available, because we have discussed so much about AI, and Soma has given such a beautiful insight about how AI functions. So people who are in the forum, if they have any questions around it, I think we can pick it up from there.
Awesome. Yeah, we missed. Yes, anybody in the forum who has any questions, please drop your questions in the chat box. Time is very precious today. We have 30 minutes to go, so I will move up, but if as and when the question comes in, we will definitely take it in. Okay, so this helps us to move to the theme number 4, which is, I think, Anand's pet peeves, education and early career readiness. Right? Are our universities ready? Or are universities ready to take up this change? Are our new generation of kids growing up ready to, or do they know what skills are required for them to get into the corporate life successfully? So those are the certain things. I have again another 2 questions. I will take it to you, Anand. The first question is to you. The first is, are universities preparing graduates for the realities of Career 4.0? If not, what must change immediately?
Yes, Rupa, that's a very what you call a good question and a very critical one. As far as my experience goes, fortunately, I'm now seeing central and state universities now starting, to realize the job reality, the industry reality, the industry demands. And as far as the academics goes, the policies goes, the NEP, that is the National Education Policy 2020, is giving them this vision actually to have this. So UGC is now enabling universities and institutions to prepare the students for future of work, along with what was happening with the industry academia partnerships by giving them autonomy and freedom. And therefore, if we see, there has been a rise in establishment of private, universities and autonomous institutions
Mhm.
in the last few years for this. However, what I feel is the pace at which the technology and the industry needs are changing. Universities are still falling behind to meet this demand.
Yeah.
Still the academics remain, theoretical. The speed to update it is really snail paced as of now. Therefore, preparing industry relevant curriculum, giving them freedom to revise it freely, and frequently. That is more important today with the technology changing and implementing. What I feel is the open book exam system, which actually judges the students' learning instead of the just studying or mugging up level, and updating and skilling faculty members to teach skills and not just academics is the change what is required today. So there is a need to make students educated as well
Yeah.
as skilled, and therefore the first point of contact which students encounter with are the faculty members, and therefore skilling the faculty is also it's a big requirement today.
I would like
Awesome.
to add here, because we work with a lot of academia as well. I think the scenarios here are changing drastically. We have never had BSc in cybersecurity layer 2 years back. Now you see that happening.
Yeah.
Institutes are pretty much aligned in terms of bringing all the accredited bodies who are certifying to their campus, incorporating the entire curriculum based on those, creating real life stimulations which can actually add value. In fact, today morning I was, in one of the universities in Pune today, wherein, I was amazed to see the kind of ethical simulation hacks, hacking they have created, which did not leave any single industry behind, be it power, be it banking, hospitals, education sectors, metros, everything. So I think the leap has already begun, and every
Mm.
single place you go nowadays, there is a lot happening, lot. And children are also taking up skills,
Yeah.
because they also understand that being a graduate can get you an entry, right? But employability will happen when you have those skills. So if colleges are emphasizing on bringing in that skills in terms of certification, which are industry recognized, so that by the time they are graduate, they have at least two, three such certifications and they are job ready in the particular domain and field they would like to go to. So I think that leap is already started and it's in the full swing, with PM and the states also involved majorly into doing so.
That's an amazing point, Manpreet. So I guess I would want to add it up with the second question, which I'm really curious to understand from all of you. What should young professionals unlearn? Not learn, but unlearn very quickly as they learn new skills. What do you all think about it?
The one word I can give is social media.
No, I would not agree to that. I think social media is giving them a lot of exposures. The hackathons, the CTFs which happen, you would never know otherwise. How would a student ever come to know about this statewide thing? So using social media wisely is important, or ethically is important. It should not be about how things are doing it. I think the young generation, one advice which I think I would give them is to just have some patience. They are in this rush, peer pressure, pressure from home. See, what I finally understand is that they do not have to bring food on the table for anybody. When we started working, we had a very different approach towards why we want to work. We wanted to increase our standard of living, take parents to another level, add value to the household. But these kids already have a house. They already have parents who are working. For next 10 years also, if they don't do anything, they will still be given food on the table. I literally don't take me that way that you should not work. But the point is that you are they are actually born in a golden period, and I wish I was born in this era. Imagine you are telling me that when we used to make projects, we used to go and understand what happened in the past. We never knew what will happen in the future. Today kids have the capability to not only know about the past, bring forth their own thoughts, their own aspirations, their own innovations, and also get what could happen in the future. So look at the combination, deadly combination, which they can use to make things more relevant. How innovative can they go? So I believe that this entire generation is born in a golden period. And if now also they don't make use of it, then don't understand what can make them go for it. to be very honest.
So I think I have one more point to add, Manpreet. I mean, this is very accurate what you said. In my opinion, one thing that the new gen should unlearn is using AI or Chat GPT for everything, each and everything, right? So there are certain things like I have seen school children, right, asking Chat GPT or GPT on the essays and everything, right? So whatever has been given to them, they're using that AI to help them give the answers, which they should stop doing, because otherwise they'll not be able to explore their own brain and be able to come up with more I mean, otherwise they are kind of completely, as I was saying, they'll hit a ceiling there. So it's like, you're not getting technical depth, you're not getting the fundamentals, concepts getting cleared, and you're just kind of relying on someone to give an answer, and that someone is the AI, obviously, and who will give you everything with much more details than asked for. So I think that's where they should unlearn and use it only where needed.
I'll
And
give
I've
you a
seen
very,
even the kids taking
Rupa,
AI. Sorry,
sorry,
sorry, sorry. Go ahead.
Rupa, I want to add one more point before you go. Now, this is a real example which has happened. We do a lot of CTFs, okay? And CTFs are nothing but, you know, uh, it's about hacking into the real world environment, getting into it and trying to understand, what you can do. Now, when we had this post going on and all, there was this student who wrote to us and DM'd us, and this is a real example. You guys teach ethical hacking? Yeah, we do. There's this event happening. Yes, it is happening. You know what? I have some 25,000 rupees in my kitty. Can you please hack the phone of my girlfriend? This is
Okay.
the level of thinking. So that's what I'm saying. Even this generation today is divided into two groups. One who is absolutely focused, oriented.
Yeah.
They actually know how to use AI to the best of their advantage, Chat GPT to the best of their advantage. And there's another one who is completely lost. For them, hacking is all about going Instagram hacking, WhatsApp hacking, but that's not the reality, right? So I think awareness among these kids also become a critical aspect, and that is where the role of all people like us becomes critical and important. That whenever we see something, instead of saying that why does it bother me, we should be like, how can I help? To give them that insight so that our next generation is at least aligned to certain things which are critical and important for our growth as a country.
Wow. I thought only one person will speak, but this is the topic for all, right? We all can speak, I think, hours on the topic of what has to be unlearned.
Yes,
That's amazing, right?
that's a very very thought provoking question, Rupa. And
Yes.
since I have been going into schools and colleges for many expert sessions or career counseling sessions or for subject sessions. So I believe that not just the young professionals or for that matter, every one of us will need to have the three kind of phases where we unlearn something, we learn something, and we relearn also something,
Yep.
and that on a very continuous basis. So what I feel young professionals right from their college days should unlearn is that the things that limit their growth. So for example, as the mindset of considering a job as a life stability, gone are these days. And having a rigidity in learning, over dependence on others for getting direction, motivation, or validation, and not thinking that entrepreneurship is not their cup of tea. These kind of things need to be unlearned, and they should also unlearn the idea that success follows a linear path. That one degree maybe defines their career forever. They should also unlearn the fear of change, because that's the only thing which will be happening in the future. They should also unlearn the ego of knowing everything, because today AI tools have give that kind of a sense that they can know everything. So that they need to unlearn definitely. And their attachment to comfort zones, because ultimately everyone is supposed to come out of the comfort zone to actually succeed in the career. So that is what I feel as far as unlearning goes.
Awesome. Great. I guess we spoke about career skills, leadership, technology, and the shift of AI, and also the universities, shaping themselves up to be ready for the future generations. With that, we are going for the last topic, last theme of the day, which is on sales. Okay, here we go. Sales, customer centricity, and service delivery. Now, it's the pet peeve of Manpreet, right? I have two questions here. I'm going to pop up both of them here, which is how will customer expectations reshape the skills required in sales and service delivery roles? And what does career agility look like for professionals working in client facing operations heavy environments? I guess, Manpreet, you've already answered it in a different way for the other questions, but this is a direct question. Like, how has it shaped your journey as a sales leader for 20 plus years, right? 20 25 plus years. How has it shaped your journey? And what are those new things which you have, changed in your way of leadership, sales leadership especially?
The very critical aspect which I think has happened is storytelling in sales.
Okay.
Uh, People do not buy your product, they buy your story. What value do you add? What it is that, how am I reducing their KRAs with that particular solution which I go to them? If
Yeah.
I'm able to solve that, you have the deal. How much do I understand their organization? When I say that, what does it mean?
Yeah.
Have you done your research enough in when you're meeting that particular customer in order to understand what motivates them, what kind of a course they are liking, what they are doing, what is the annual budget of the company, how much are they spending on a particular initiative, what is the CEO saying about it? So I think that being prepared for any sale is critical.
Mm.
And that's where major portion of the sales rep fail. If you really look at it from a customer aspect, customers today are overwhelmed with information.
Yeah.
It's like, everywhere you have everything. So many companies doing so many things. But what is relevant for them? Who is educating them?
Mm.
What they can do? And then, the most important aspect, which I think, what is the outcome clarity you're giving to those customers? Stop chasing them like, this is the end of the day or world is going to come to an end. It doesn't really matter. They have already made up their mind as to which home they want to go for that particular purchase before even you visit them. But your readiness in terms of all these things will add value in terms of understanding whether they stay with you or you lose them. So that is
Yeah.
very, very important from for every salesperson. Another important change which I'm seeing is emotional intelligence. Be empathetic, sometimes be support, sometimes be consultative, sometimes be um, literally calm, listen, just listen, so and so forth. I think this combination of emotional intelligence, preparedness, industry storytelling as to what is happening. So when I come to you, if I'm not leaving you with one or two thoughts, which we were not aware of, I'm just another salesperson in the loop. Why would you even come and take anything from me, right?
Yeah.
So that is absolutely important and critical in today's scenario if you really want to get into a sales profession. Uh,
Amazing.
for me, career agility means moving between different roles swiftly and quickly. It is
Mm.
not on levels, but also across. You're a
Mm.
salesperson today. Can you become a customer service guy tomorrow? Can you become a solution architect by understanding and creating a blueprint? So you have to go to that. Salespeople just can't say, I will only do sales and come back and give it to the other team to manage it. No, it doesn't work like that at all. You need to have an understanding of each department, how it correlates, how it works, what is the relation you need to create, how do you marry different aspects put together, and that's where the beauty lies, and that's where the blueprint which you create would create an impact and value, for everybody.
Amazing. That's great.
I will, I will, I will
Yeah,
just leave you with one line
sure.
before I give it to you. And I'm really sorry, my boarding has started, so I have to move to. Um,
Okay.
they're calling my name again and again. So agile professionals, don't fear disruptions. They anticipate it and they accept it and move towards it. And that is the key for a great professional.
I mean, I will take that word for the next question, which I'll have. Maybe I think you will have to log off now. But what is one piece of career advice that will remain relevant even in the era of AI? I guess your anticipation and patience will definitely work. Is there any other word which you would want to leave our audience with?
Trust yourself and have patience. Do not run after vitamin M, which is money, but
Yeah.
run after excellence. Success is going to follow.
Three Idiots. I know I can tell that. I remember that also. I mean, it is linking there. I mean,
It
somewhere
is.
very nice
I had
storytelling with
I
movies.
I had Abdul Kalam in mind, but yeah, you take it three. That's fine.
Yeah.
So anyway,
That was.
I really apologize. I'm in a airport taking this webinar from there, but thank you so much. I really have enjoyed myself thoroughly, and all my fellow panelists here. Thank you for all your support and great insight and innovative aspect. We will definitely connect and take it forward. And really apologies for this. I really have to
No
move
issues at
now.
all, Manpreet, but
Thank
thank
you.
you very much. It's
Thank
really
you.
great to have you with us today. Thank you very
Thank you
much
so
for all
much.
your
Thank you.
insights.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, we moved to the next slide, but Rahul, Soma, and Anand, do you have any insights on this sales, customer sensitivity, and service roles? Any insights here?
I think I just want to give one, statement, which is know your customer. And this is for all levels of professionals. Don't just think that you're a developer or a tester or somebody, who doesn't have any role in understanding who the customer is, why the customer is, what the customer is. I think it's not just important, it is pertinent for everyone to know their customer, know the competitor, know the business, get to that kind of level of depth. And I think that's where the fun is. That's where, where you become irreplaceable, because when you actually deliver solutions which really impacts.
I think
Awesome,
completely
Rahul.
agree with
Thank you.
Rahul, Rupa here, because like we've seen that when you actually each developer, right? We don't have to limit it to any salesperson or anyone, right? We want to ensure that every developer knows it well and be able to suggest solutions, right? Because now he has an edge on the technical side. He can probably provide better business solutions, keeping technology in mind. So he, in fact, I would say they are the most powerful people, right? In terms of so there's a coordination that happens across, because we have expertise, sales expertise, we have product expertise, and eventually all of them come to the technology and say, look, come, please help us with the solution. So I tell
Yeah.
my team, right, like, look, people are coming to you, you should be able to suggest the business solutions. You are equally capable of doing that. You don't have to rely on anyone. You go with
Yeah.
solutions, say, look, this
Yeah.
is a solution I'm suggesting, please take it forward, right? So I think that's where the difference is, right? Going from up, you should actually go from the down there.
That's awesome. And Anand, do you have any words? No? Too much,
No,
right? We've
not
got
at all.
everything. I mean, we have to
Yes,
search our
yes.
dictionaries. What word is missed? We really used all, because it's a great questions and I guess great insights till now, right? And this is the last, I would say, it's not a theme as such, but a question, a curiosity question for all the audience as well, and to me as well, as to what's your personal insight on this now, to your what is your perspective, or what do you think one piece of advice which you could give to anybody who would come and ask you, okay, I want a career advice, or I want a growth advice in this era of AI? What would it be? What would you give? What would be that one piece of advice?
So, I
I
mean, I'd
I
probably
would,
just go.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
go ahead,
Sorry.
please. Yeah.
No, I would just say to that particular, person that, keep learning. That's it. That's the only way which, you can survive and sustain your life and your
Okay.
career.
Okay. That's great. Soma?
Yeah, I would say that, if you're learning to drive with auto drive or autopilot mode, understand the gears well, and be ready to race in Formula One. So,
Oh.
I mean, I would relate it to,
Okay.
if you basically, in a similar manner, if you're learning to code in AI, understand the technology beneath, and then be ready to kind of do innovations around.
Awesome. Rahul?
I think everything is said. I don't have anything special over here, but I think, like I mentioned earlier, also it's the depth. People have to reach to the depth of the topic they are dealing in. That is only one way which will help them survive. If they are at superficial level, I'm sure that they would be replaced very well either by machine or a person.
Awesome. I guess I would get a chance to tell my piece of advice as well here because I kind of tell, I preach, and I follow that too, is always stay curious. Always stay curious, always stay agile, always stay adaptable, right? And never wait for someone else to take the ownership of your growth. Your growth is in your hand, right? If you're not staying curious, if you're not adaptable, if you're not interested, somebody else will not take that for you. So that's one thing which is in my mind. My mentor always says that to me. So stay curious, right? I always tease him by saying, okay, curiosity kills the cat, but no, that happens only in the cat, but not at human. Curiosity enables and enhances your brain cells, is what he used to say. So yeah, I always stay curious so that I'll have a lot of questions and get into the depth of excellence and understand it. Just like Soma said, you need to have the depth of knowledge. Like Rahul also reiterated the same word. Depth of knowledge is very important right now. And with that, I guess we are on the last slide of the session, where I would want to ask our audience today if they have any personal insight, if they would want to give a career advice to anybody, what would that be? So audience, I think we have few more people. So please go ahead and give us those ideas or that insight, what you got, what you have, which you would give for your people in the chat box. We would love to see that. Right. And we still have another 3 minutes. So if anybody has any questions to our panelists, you can just go ahead and put that, in the chat box so that we can answer them. And for all the audience, this webinar is recorded, and we definitely would share it on our page, NFLIG page. And we will go ahead and please go through it. And I'm sure we had some great, insightful, powerful conversation today. Great insights on a lot of topics, a lot of conversations. So have a look at it and provide your feedback. If at all, if there's any other topic which you really want us to do a webinar on with some more and same panel or even more powerful leaders whom we are connected with, we can definitely bring that on to you. Right? So I don't see any questions
I
as
think,
of
Rupa,
now.
there is a question I can see. I don't know
Do you?
probably if that was answered. Yeah, I could see a question. Like 1 second.
I don't see anything. Anand?
Yeah, I see Mitesh has asked this question: is AI readiness part of the HR team's hiring framework? So, I mean, that's probably I can take up from visa perspective. Yes, Mitesh, we do have AI readiness, but yes, we are in the process of evolving. We still have a lot of things to do to make sure it is entirely automated, but it's in progress. We have certain things like resume selection, which is being automated as part of the AI. But there are many other things which we are evaluating still to see how we can do an end-to-end automation.
Okay. Any other questions? I don't know why, but I don't see the questions.
I could see only one.
I think it was specific to you, maybe. I don't, maybe if he's not added.
Sure.
Okay. Great. We had questions. So keep coming up with a lot of questions. We are available on the our web page as well, our LinkedIn page as well. You can, bombard us with all the questions you have, and we'll definitely get back with answers. With that, I guess I would like to close the session. These are our closing remarks as to these are the key takeaways for Career 4.0. These are the things which we discussed today. So what we were trying to advocate through our webinar is not to depend on complete AI, but partner with AI. Right. So the dependability has to reduce, but partnership has to increase, is what the content or topic was all about. Career 4.0 is not about competing with AI, but partnering and evolving with it, right? So it's about staying curious, staying adaptable, just like I said, and also taking ownership of your growth instead of putting that growth aspect on the AI, right? And so to bring more clarity and confidence in whatever you're learning and how the market is evolving, and these are the themes on which the questions were built on as well. So for
Yeah, I
all who
think, Rupa,
joined,
just one point I want to make is I think Mitesh had one more
sure,
question follow
sure,
up. If I can just answer, just
uh-huh,
take 1 more minute,
sure.
not even 1 minute. I think he is asking, he meant AI skills across all the positions, whether AI readiness is part of the hiring for all the positions. Yes, we do have that. We have we if we look our JD as well, Mitesh, we have for all the job requirements we have. We do require AI as a mandatory skill set, and we also look at the AI commits and the number of commits at the in the GitHub by each individual. So that also helps us understand whether the kind of AI usage it has been done. So I think, yeah, that's about. You have any other questions, Mitesh? Happy to answer it. You can also reach me offline. We'll be happy to answer that.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Soma. Thank you for
Sure.
that.
Thanks.
That's awesome. Good. Those are curious minds there with a lot of questions, which is so great, right? We always want to hear more questions. So I guess we are done with all the questions, and we are done with the webinar today. We had a lovely time, and I had a lovely time moderating all the leaders here and asking all those questions and literally getting the things from your brain out. To everyone who joined us, thank you very much. You really made our day, and I hope you're leaving with that clarity and confidence which you actually wanted to achieve or get before joining us, and also the renewed sense of confidence if possible, and also navigating your own career 4.0, right? So how do you navigate your own career 4.0 journey, and how do you prepare yourself for that? Wear your armor, the strong golden armor, and get ready for that generation and go achieve it. The world is yours, is always I say. So wishing you all a wonderful evening, and thank you very much for joining us. Last but not the least, for sure, from our side, from the NFLIG side, from all our panelists, our leaders side, wish you a very happy new year. So may this coming year bring all the new opportunities, new learnings, new possibilities, and everything you want, desire, and deserve for the whole year. Okay. All the very best, guys and leaders. It was amazing talking to you, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Rupa, for setting it up. Thanks, Anand, and thanks
Thank
all.
you. Thank
Glad
you.
to be part of
Yeah,
this
that's
forum.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Happy
much.
New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. Happy
Yeah.
Happy New Year to everyone. Bye bye.